Hi there. How's your saving? Well, most people, myself included, often struggle with how to identify opportunities to save money. The truth is, spotting these opportunities can be simple. It's implementing them and sticking to the plan that's the real challenge. Take a moment and think about it. You already know you could save money by skipping your daily Starbucks coffee. You're aware that you could ditch premium Spotify and live with a few light ads. So why don't we act on these insights? Why do we ignore these opportunities even when they're right in front of us? The answer is simple. As long as we have money in our pockets or a card ready to swipe, we're tempted to spend. So, what's the solution? The trick is to make spending harder for yourself. Create systems that limit how much you can spend. When you don't have easy access to extra money, it becomes much clearer what you can and can't afford to buy on impulse. But how do you set this up in a way that helps you consistently spot and act on opportunities to save? Keep watching to learn how. Now, if you're new here or returning for more tips, welcome back to the channel, where we talk about all things money saving and smart spending. Starting off with automating the bill. If you're already paying them on time, take it a step further by setting them to automatically be paid as soon as your salary hits your account. Learning how to identify opportunities to save money starts with prioritizing your essential expenses through automatic bill payment. This ensures your obligations are covered first, leaving you with only what's left to manage more effectively. This system works because it removes the temptation to spend money that should be allocated to bills. When your account balance reflects only your discretionary funds, you're less likely to feel like you have extra money to waste. Additionally, automatic bills payment can save you from late payment fees and the stress of forgetting due dates. You'll maintain a better credit score and reduce financial headaches. With everything automated, you'll not only save money, but also gain peace of mind. To start, review your bills, rent, utilities, insurance, subscriptions, and set up autopay for each one. Be sure to monitor your account regularly to ensure payments are going through correctly and that you're staying within your budget. Automatic payments as a routine isn't just a convenience. It's a smart financial habit that helps you escape the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. By prioritizing your bills first, you're reaping these benefits. Avoid late fees, protect your credit score, remove the temptation to spend money meant for essentials, reduce financial stress, and make budgeting easier. Want to know more tips to escape the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle? Check out my blog post for practical strategies to build financial security and finally take control of your money. Or hit that subscribe button to be notified when the video for this is out. Next is to grow emergency funds. Experts recommend setting aside 3 to 6 months worth of essential expenses in an emergency fund. This is a great starting point, as it provides a safety net for unexpected events like car repairs, medical bills, or short-term unemployment. However, once you've built a solid emergency fund, consider expanding it further to provide additional peace of mind. For some people, aiming for a larger fund can provide even more security during uncertain times. To make this happen, create an automatic savings plan. For instance, set up an automatic transfer from your paycheck into a dedicated savings account each month. By removing the money before you see it, you eliminate the temptation to spend it and can focus on spotting additional ways to save. However, treat your emergency fund as untouchable, reserved strictly for true emergencies. Avoid dipping into it for non-essentials like vacations or gadgets. To keep it safe but accessible, consider placing it in a high-yield savings account. This allows your fund to grow over time while remaining easy to access when needed. If you're wondering how to start or grow your emergency fund, follow these 5 simple steps. First, assess your personal finance. Understand your income, expenses, and where you can allocate savings. Second, identify areas to save. Cut unnecessary expenses and reallocate funds to your emergency savings. Third, Choose the right savings account. Opt for a high-yield account to maximize growth while keeping funds accessible. Fourth, make a direct deposit automatic. Set up auto transfers so you're consistently saving without extra effort. And fifth, monitor and adjust. Regularly review your fund to ensure you're on track and make adjustments if needed. Creating a solid emergency fund is a game changer for financial stability. If you want a step-by-step breakdown on how to start, grow, and protect your emergency savings, check out this full blog post for expert tips and strategies. Because the more prepared you are, the more financial freedom and peace of mind you'll have. In addition to building your emergency fund, it's equally important to focus on growing a sinking fund. While an emergency fund is meant for unexpected crises, a sinking fund is designed for planned, predictable expenses. Those big-ticket items that you know are coming, but might not have the funds for when the time arrives. Want to learn more about sinking fund examples? Check out the full article here to explore practical sinking fund examples and step-by-step guidance on setting up your own. And unlike your emergency fund, you can use your sinking funds for planned expenses like vacations, home repairs, car maintenance, or even holiday gifts. However, be sure to distinguish between needs and wants when using these funds. The idea is to set aside money regularly so that when the expense arises, you're not scrambling to cover it or relying on credit cards. By proactively saving for these sinking fund examples, you can avoid unnecessary debt and reduce the temptation to overspend at the moment. This also forces you to only spend on what you need and gives you clarity on areas where you can save more. I know you're excited to start your sinking funds, but you should also check these mistakes to avoid sabotaging your budget planning. First is setting unrealistic savings goals. If your budget is already tight, don't try to save unrealistic amounts. Next is forgetting to adjust your budget. Be mindful that incorporating sinking funds into your budgeting requires planning. Last mistake that we should avoid is not tracking your progress. Whether using a budgeting spreadsheet or simple notes, be diligent in keeping a record of what you've saved toward your larger goals. It's always so motivating to see those totals growing. Check the full video about sinking fund examples to learn how to avoid these common mistakes. A sinking fund is any dedicated savings for irregular expenses that aren't part of your typical monthly budget. If it's something you know you'll need to purchase or pay at some point, but it doesn't come due each month, it's a great candidate for a sinking fund. Learning how to identify opportunities to save money can help tackle one of the most significant barriers to financial freedom: debt. Debt not only drains your finances through interest payments, but it also makes it harder to save, invest, and plan for the future. That's why one of the best things you can do to free up money for saving is to consolidate your debt and focus on paying it off as quickly as possible. Consolidating debt involves combining multiple loans or credit card balances into a single payment, often with a lower interest rate. This simplification can reduce the mental and financial burden of juggling several payments each month and help you make more consistent progress. Once consolidated, commit to paying off your debt as quickly as possible. The faster you pay it off, the less you'll pay in interest overall. Consider using methods like the debt avalanche, paying off high-interest debts first, or the debt snowball, paying off smaller debts first to stay motivated. Automate your payments so you don't miss any, and allocate any extra money or windfalls directly toward paying down debt. Tracking your spending is fundamental to maintaining financial discipline. When your money is already committed to bills, savings, and debt repayment, each remaining dollar should be spent thoughtfully. This process might feel restrictive at first, but over time, it will help you develop a more conscious approach to spending. As you track your spending, begin to question every purchase. Do you really need that item? Does it add value to your life, or is it just a fleeting desire? This practice will help you prioritize the things that matter and spot opportunities to save more, even when you're broke. There are many ways to track your expenses. First, you can download an expense tracker app. Second, you could use pen and paper. Third, simply collect receipts. Fourth, set spending alerts. And fifth, plan your budget. If you want to learn more about this, check our full guide. Once you've automated your bills, built your emergency and sinking funds, consolidated your debts, and tracked your spending, you'll naturally start to understand how to identify opportunities to save money. And that's actually a good thing. With fewer funds to play with, it's essential to track every penny. By keeping a close eye on your spending, you'll naturally become more mindful of where your money goes, helping you avoid unnecessary purchases and stay focused on your long-term goals. If you found this helpful, be sure to visit and subscribe to timeformoremetime.com. Leave a comment and let us know. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Ring the notification bell to stay informed. And we'll see you in our next video.